All right, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? And I hope everyone's enjoying the weekend. I've had a pretty solid weekend so far. Obviously, today hasn't been ideal weather. For what I think it should be anyway for you know, Saturday in mid-September. But hey, it's you have to deal with the hand that you are given. Make the most out of it. It's been a pretty solid weekend so far. Has been. Um, Watching this UGA Kentucky game right now. Shoot, man. I mean, Kentucky's giving it to the fucking dogs, man. I'll tell you that much. But Georgia always has this game once a year where it just feels like they fucking lack. You know, they'll lack. Ultimately, they come out with it. That's probably what's going to happen here. I mean, hope it doesn't. I'd obviously love to, clown Georgia. But with that being said, I do want to talk about, this game we got Monday night versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And it is a pretty big game. I think we all know that. This is really the first time, I think in 4 years, you can honestly say this team has been an actual prime time. And look, I'm going to say this. I love Thursday night football. I do. I love Thursday night football. But you don't get the same feeling from Thursday night football that you get from Monday night or Sunday night or even that 425 slot. You don't get that same feeling. And obviously, these next two games, the Falcons are going to be in prime time. They're going to be in, the epitome of prime time. This Monday night, and then 6 nights after Monday, we're going to be playing the Chiefs next Sunday night. So, obviously, the entire, not just us, but this entire world is going to be exposed to, the team that we've known for months. And, this is really where the Falcons got to make the very disappointing opening weekend. That is obviously now behind us. But you got to make your case. You got to show that, all the talk for this team this offseason, it wasn't for nothing. And this is a very tough predicament to be going into. Philly has not been favorable to us. I don't think we've won in Philly since 2012. And Kirk Cousins has struggled in Philadelphia, and he has struggled on Monday night. His struggles on Monday night, Kirk Cousins on Monday night has really become, a but man, the Monday night is probably not his most favorite time to be playing. Kirk is the type of guy, obviously, with the expectations for this team, he's got to step up in prime time. I'm going to say this. It's been a while since I've seen my team in prime time. I love seeing us play on Monday night. Love seeing us play on Sunday night. Hell, I love seeing us play on Thursday night. I like Thursday night football. I love seeing us 425. I love us being the center of attention. But that's also the point where you got to prove to everyone what this team is going to be. Because now everyone's going to be talking about you. All the talk about is Kirk Cousins healthy or not. Come up with all that stuff. The talk about a guy like Bijan Robinson. This is Bijan Robinson has actually played it with the lights on, playing under the lights on Monday Night Football. It's another thing. There's a lot of these guys, first time playing under the lights, I know, maybe the guys who've been here a few years, maybe they played, a Thursday night in Carolina, or they've played, Thursday night or something like that. And look, as I've said, I'm going to say it again. I love three of our next 4 games are going to be in prime time. The only game that ain't in prime time is the game against our arch rival. So the team, it's going to put them in a pressure cooker here for, these next couple of weeks. And this is really a spot we're going to find out what this team is made of. But you look at it, a lot of these guys, this is their first time playing, actual primetime. And obviously another thing with Thursday night too, it's on the streaming service. And not everyone has Amazon Prime. ESPN, I know they got that dispute going on with DirecTV, which I know is going to mess a lot of people up, on how to watch this game. Watching. This is really going to be the first time the entire world is going to be able to see a guy like Drake London, a guy like Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. This is, all their first times playing on a Monday night. And then we're going to be playing on Sunday night. Monday night, Sunday night, that's the epitome of primetime. And that's the high-pressure situations. And that's really where you see, that's where guys make their name. They make their name in primetime. They make their name with the whole world watching. That is where, they really become household names. So, look, the pressure's absolutely on. And it's against an Eagles team that went to the Super Bowl a few years ago. It's going to be in Philadelphia. That's one of the most hostile environments in the entire league in all sports. As I think we talk about, Atlanta, Philadelphia is really big. This is a game that I'm going to be completely honest, I'd love to have. I would. Do I think we're going to have it? Well, I'm going to talk about it. But this is absolutely a huge spot for a lot of the guys on this team. You look at, even someone who's been here a few years like AJ Terrell. I don't remember if he played in that Monday night game in 2020. He may have, or may have been. He might have had COVID or something around that. I don't know. Remember if against Carolina, this is really the first time that's big, especially for a team that we know has to make significant improvements and has to do it now. You can't listen. Last week was a big embarrassment. It was a big disappointment, and it cannot happen again. It can't, because I think we all know that with the expectations with this team, you cannot afford to drop to 0-3. And when you look at this game and you look at who we face afterwards in the Chiefs, and then afterwards with the Saints and Bucks, this really kind of this is why we were making such a big deal out of the Steelers game for months, ever since the schedule came out. We got to win that game. And now you head into Philadelphia 0-1, and it is a really tough spot to be in, especially now with the big question, is Kirk Cousins fully healthy? And even if he is, do the Falcons trust him? Do the Falcons trust him? And Zach Robinson's ability as a play caller, a guy who I know, one for myself, had a lot of high expectations for, saw, really should be this next guy to come out of this McVay tree. Last week, it was very disappointing. It was, and how even if Kirk Cousins is not 100%, your failure to get a guy like a lot of quick stuff, to get someone like Kyle Pitts going over the middle, to get Drake London going on physical sideline routes, to get, someone to just get little quick stuff going. You can't just use Bijan. There's certain spots to use Bijan in. And trust me, I love when he gets the ball, because it does feel like, anything can happen. You can give it to Bijan. You have other guys on this team too. You got to get the ball to. You got to get the ball to Kyle. Use Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier is a very big part of this football team. He, X factors to this entire equation. The presence that he has as a running back, the type of style that he plays, very, very big. So, needless to say, if the Falcons are going to win this game, the offense is going to have to come and have a night because Philly's offense, I can already tell you, is not playing around. Now, big development in this game is A.J. Brown was limited in practice yesterday. He did not practice today. So we may or may not see him. Now, with the type of guy that A.J. Brown is, the competitor that he is, you have to take this as he is going to play. And even if he doesn't, you still got to deal with a guy like Devontae Smith. You got to deal with Jahan Dotson. And really now the big center of that Eagles offense this year is Saquon Barkley. You know, Saquon for years in New York was surrounded by a very unstable situation for the most part. Now he's in an organization in Philly that has been one of the most winning organizations in the NFL for the past decade. A quarterback in Jalen Hurts that, you know, I think when obviously you have a very good situation around him, I think Jalen Hurts can be good as any quarterback in the entire NFL, and especially in Philadelphia too. There's a lot of things in this game that go to the advantage of the Eagles, and I'm going to be honest, that don't make me feel good. That hasn't made me feel good about this game for months. Now, where I do think the Falcons could take advantage in this game is number one, I think you got to take the crowd out of it early. You got to come out early and you got to establish your presence. You can't come out getting behind early. You can't fall behind 14-0 early because then at that point you're doomed. I don't care, you know, if you catch on in the second half or anything like that. You got to come out and you got to start early. And yeah, that includes getting both Bijan and Algier involved in the running game. That also includes, guess what? Getting Kirk Cousins under center. Because if Kirk Cousins is really healthy, if he really, you know, can go 100%, prove it. Have him under center this week. Run some play action. Play action, I think, could be very key in this game on Monday. You want to win? Guess what? Where you get those big chunk plays, because that is really where you can thrive against the Eagles. The Eagles have a very young secondary. There's a lot of transition going on in there in that back half of their defense. So you get someone like Drake London going deep on a sideline ball. You get a Kyle Pitts going over the middle, and you just let him eat. That's what you got to do. You get a Darnell Mooney going. That's what you got to do in this game. If you're going to win, Kirk Cousins is going to have to come out, and you're going to have to, in that silence, he may not be fully 100%. You cannot come out and have him 96% in the shotgun and pistol, because guess what? That ain't going to work against this Eagles team. Because that Eagles front seven, even though there's a lot of aging parts to it, in many ways, Jalen Carter is a dog. They got a lot of dogs on that defense, literally and figuratively. Jalen Carter's a dog. The boy Nolan Smith, he's a dog. Jordan Davis, you know, if he's got his breath under him, he can cause some damage too. Nakobe Dean just became a starter for him. So at the end of the day, that Eagles front seven could absolutely eat you alive. And especially with a guy like Caleb McGarry and how weak we see he is, they're going to be picking at him all game long. Especially they get him one-on-one. You imagine Nolan Smith one-on-one with him? Nolan Smith could destroy him. That's also why you got to really be key in on actually having a guy like Charlie Warner chip blocking him all game. You shouldn't have Kyle Pitts chip. You see, Kyle Pitts chip blocking TJ Watt that's some Arthur Smith shit. That's the type of stuff that made us go, was this the leftovers of an Arthur Smith offense? Matter of fact, was that honestly Arthur Smith under a disguise calling that game for us Sunday? He pays someone off because that certainly you cannot have that shit. Charlie Warner's your physical guy. He's your sixth offensive lineman. Kyle Pitts is the guy you're able to move all over the field. We talked about this for years now, but that's the truth. He will be a key Monday if we want to have a chance in this game. And that's the same thing with Drake London. Same thing with a guy like Darnell Mooney. They got to be your keys. You got to get big plays out of them. So you got to play that traditional style. It's got to be running the ball with Tyler Algier, obvious, but it's going to be about setting up those plays for Kyle Pitts, for Drake London, for Darnell Mooney. It's going to be about that. Defense was pretty impressive last week versus Pittsburgh. They didn't give up a touchdown. I've said it. The defense wasn't the problem. We could have easily won the game with the performance they put out. It's just the offensive play calling was so dreadful, you couldn't stand it. You're not facing, a Steelers offense, Arthur Smith, first game as offensive coordinator. Justin Fields called in to get the start 24 hours before the game. You're not getting that shit this time around. You're getting someone in Kellen Moore. Yeah, he's new, but, they've already had a week to get under their belts. And it's not just that. Jalen Hurts, a damn good quarterback. Even if they are missing A.J. Brown, Philly's always had good receivers. They do now. That can easily he put out, on Sunday versus George Pickens. Yeah, I'm absolutely step up. He's got to earn his money. He's got to earn his money because Bates. That includes getting Saquon's going to be the focal point of their offense and getting him involved in the running and passing game. And let me tell you something. With Nate Landman out, and I've honestly kind of said this, outside of Jesse Bates, I think Nate Landman's the second best player on this defense. And everyone will say, oh, what about Grady? What about Grady? Look, love Grady, always will. He's a Falcons Hall of Famer. He's a Falcons legend. But at this stage in his career, I think Grady is the type of guy where, you let Grady be. Grady needs other guys, to help him. Grady's not just going to be he's still coming back from his ACL. Granted, love Grady, always will not take anything away from him. He can absolutely still play. But I think where Nate Landman is in the impact that he's going to have regardless, I think he's the second best player on this defense. I think he's absolutely our best linebacker. So him being out is absolutely going to be huge Monday. And they're absolutely going to pick that middle of the field with Saquon. They're going to pick at Troy Anderson. They're going to pick at J.D. Bertrand all game. I'm telling you right now, that's what Philadelphia is going to do. So the offense is going to have to come out and absolutely silence all of that noise. You're going to have to take the crowd out of it early. You're going to have to you're going to have to get to a point where you do what you did not do versus Pittsburgh, where you dominate the game. You're sustaining drives that shows you're in this game. That's what you got to do. Sustain those drives. So ultimately, do I think we're going to win? I'm going to be honest with y'all. No, I don't. Now, I think this could absolutely be a game that we do come out and we shock everyone and win. I'm not gonna, just act like a fool and get trigger. We ain't won in Philly in 12 years. We ain't won in Philly in primetime meetings. And typically when we're in Atlanta, we do get the upper hand. 2019 game on Sunday night, game ultimately. 2015, it was Dan Quinn's first game as head coach. we want them close in Philly. We have. Obviously, the last two games we've had in Philly was the playoff game where it went right through Julio's hands. And then the opening night game, a few months later, where we fell short in that game also. A game that we easily could have had. So we have a track record. Even the year we went to the Super Bowl, we lost in Philadelphia, and it was a game we honestly shouldn't have lost. Losing to Philly in Philadelphia, of having those struggles. Atlanta struggles in Philly. There's really nothing else I can tell you. It's not just the Falcons. Braves struggle in Philly. Trash can. It's a cesspool. Hate it. One of my least, something about Atlanta, they just do not like Philadelphia. They don't like playing there, and they can never get out of there on top with a W. And that's honestly why I say I absolutely think this. Now, listen, if there's going to be a time where you're going to shut everyone up, you're going to, prove everyone wrong about, this is the spot right here. This is where you got to do it. This is where Kirk Cousins has had 2 primetime games in Philly, week 2, the past 2 years. And I think last year, honestly, they came pretty close to winning Minnesota. They fell short. Look, this is a game where there is absolutely a sense. This is why if we were, fed a team like Carolina this week, there wouldn't be a concern. Oh, we get to beat up on the Panthers. Cool. Heck, he even give us ain't the case. This is honestly, considering we're on the road, the environment we're having to go in, it being a Monday night. Tell me the last time Phillies lost. Can't tell you. They do not lose these. But I know the Eagles and I know the Falcons. This just does not feel like the type of game we're going to win. Does. Chance I could be proven wrong. I do. I do think if the Falcons come out, they do what I said they need to do. They dominate the game. Kirk comes out and he proves everyone wrong. He proves, that his word is true, that Achilles is 100%, and that includes stepping into his throws, the little basics. That includes getting Kyle Pitts and Drake London the ball. Listen, Kyle Pitts Kyle Pitts these past few years has honestly been dying for that big time. Maybe he gets 80 or 90 yards. Maybe, he'll get the yardage to eat this game. Drake London has to eat. You got to get him the ball more than 2 times. I can tell you that much. Darnell Mooney's got to be able to catch that ball too. But he's the perfect type of guy where you get him involved. He's a splash play guy. Obviously, Bijan's your home run hitter. Tyler Algier, I think, has once again, it's got to be a big part of this. Said it last week, and they really didn't get him involved. You got to get him involved if you want to win. That's just how this thing goes. Do I think we're going to win this game, though? I'm going to be honest, no, I don't. I'd love to be proven wrong. I don't think we're... Now, I will say, I don't know how much worse it could get. I think with there being a whole nother week and there being an extra day, I absolutely do believe that you're in a spot you can win this game. Or not necessarily even win this game, but you can show those improvements. You can show that you've gotten that, you do have more of a sense of what you're doing on offense. But the defense will, once again, this being another thing for this defense. You really think about it. Going to be there as a unit. That's tough. It really is. Travel to a different country and play. They got that bonding. They were locked up in their hotels for a few days, just bonding, getting to know each other, getting to know what they want to do these first few weeks. So listen, you're gonna. Do I think we're going to do better than we did last week? Honestly, I do. I do think we're going to have a better outing. I just don't know if I think we're going to win. As I think I said earlier in the week, I think like Philly 28-20, I could see it being this type of game. I could see it being Philly 28-20. You see the offense, obviously show their flashes, show potential. But in the end, Philly's going to come out on top. That's a tough place to play. It is. Saquon is a damn good running back. I honestly think with Saquon, it's the matter of, it's kind of like Christian McCaffrey when he was in Carolina and then he went over to San Francisco. You're waiting just to be in that right situation for you, and Saquon's finally in that right situation. He's not having to waste away his days and weeks on the Giants. He's in a place where he can actually contend for something. With that being said, I wasn't really intending on this being real long. This is going to be a tough one. It is. This is going to could turn into a dogfight. You're going to have to establish your tempo. You're going to have to establish momentum if you want to win. I think it's any given Monday. I think we're going to see improvements. I do. At least I would like to hope. You can always hope. You can always have a little bit of hope. But they got to show you something. They got to show you. With that being said, I'm probably just going to watch the game. I don't think I might stream it, but I really don't know, to be honest with y'all. I'm leaning towards this. I'll probably just watch the game, and it being so late, probably just do like a, review the day after, but I'm excited. I'm excited to be back in primetime. I will say that. I'm real excited to be back in primetime. I'm excited, to be able to, tomorrow, push the Falcons off a day and just, chill tomorrow, watch the games, watch Red Zone all day, watch, obviously I think it's a Saints-Cowboys game early. I'm going to be interested by that game. That Bengals-Chiefs game. Obviously, Chiefs, we got, listen, I want to get to it. We got to do it Monday first, but, got some things for Chiefs week. And obviously it being, man, that's going to be an exciting game. Bengals, Chiefs, that's going to be an exciting one. I'm excited for that game tomorrow night with the Bears and Texans. I'm excited to see Caleb Williams and CJ Stroud. So, yeah, man, look, I think that, do I think we're going to win this game? Honestly, I don't, but that's not me saying I don't think there's zero chance. I, think there's a chance we could win. I just don't see us winning this game. I guess Philly 28-20 is my pick. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong. But I'm excited to be back. We'll see you all in the next one.